2 AD carry bans. Will they go for the strike of 3 and just remove the Aphelios? Do they feel like that's a problem? Will they actually maybe even first pick it if they take something like the Zeri off the board, leave up the Draven potentially, but Leave will very happily play that as well, you have to imagine. So they just go towards the Sejuani for now, leave up that trifecta of AD carries, and we'll see what EDG decide to ban away on this final one here. It's just going to be the Jace. Kind of a bit of a self-ban. I was maybe thinking they'll go towards this Lee Sin against Tarzan, but LNG, they'll snap that one up very quickly, and we'll see what the response will be. I'm not sure if Jake's actually going to make
no,
the entire
I'm
drop.
just chilling.
Oh, you
okay.
are? Oh, okay, brilliant.
We're okay, bro. Well, no, I don't take it personally. We're all good. I know my what the Zhongwen Hun Laji. Don't worry, bro. I got it. We're okay, but hey, you know what else is trash? Well,
yeah,
you know, as Doublelift would say, I'm sure, Zeri. But Gragas isn't, because that can be flexed mid these days.
Mid, jungle, top as well, all three. I think Zeri, Vi could be alright. If they want to go for the full bottom lane, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. But I feel like if you're going to pick up an AD carry, you want to try and always get a very positive support matchup, because more times than not, the support matchup will set you up for success. And when you see the jungler on the opposite side already, there's no reason not to go Vi in this slot. And now for LNG, what do you want to do? All right, you had the reverse matchup potentially already. Are you just going to flex it the other way around? Go for the Aphelios yourself.
I am.
And maybe go towards the Thresh this time, or maybe pick up the Lulu. It's a good denial pick away as well. I think the option's pretty solid here for LNG.
You know what's just great? Senna, but never mind.
No one wants to do it. Yeah.
Ignore it. Yeah. Look, at the very least, as you said, Lulu a denial. On the other side, EDG have the option of maybe picking up an early engage. Like, we have seen Thresh rising to perfection, but
yeah, but here's the thing: it's going to be Nautilus. Here's the thing: it's just going to be Nautilus. If it's not Nautilus, it's maybe Leona, but I doubt it. I think 2 point and clicks into Aphelios make his life really hard to play the game. Annie can, I guess, do kind of a similar thing, but it's not. Okay, so the positive about having Annie here in the spot instead of Nautilus is if you do get to that Ryze, it's going to be really irritating to play out team fights if you just get Tibbers dropped on your face and then he chases you down. And of course, zoning tools are one of the most irritating and annoying things to navigate when you're playing Aphelios team fights. So I actually like this maybe even a little bit more than Nautilus, to be honest with you. Okay. Though Nautilus is a lot more straightforward. I feel like this is a little more nuanced. So we'll see where this Annie goes, because of course it can still be a mid lane pick as well. It doesn't have to go in the support role.
Good point. The flexibility for EDG is a good part of that there. So especially with Vi jungle, great setup through your mid lane is now we just have to play around with what EDG want to do with either that last solo lane or with the double solo lanes left available. Gragas is taken away as, I guess, another engage potential here for LNG. While we start kind of theorizing what you take away from top lane, Arla is someone who can pick a lot of these carry matchups. Jax is one of them. Fiora's another. I kind of wonder if they're going to try and set up Zika to have just a tank matchup here and put all the carry onto LP.
Yeah, see, this is kind of frustrating from the side of LNG, because I feel like you would ideally want to remove FoFo's champions here, because Arla should be getting R5 more times than not. The issue is with the Annie pick, it can be flexed, so the only safe champion pool to actually ban away is Arla's champion pool. So I kind of feel the frustration for LNG a little bit. We'll see if they do, you know, kind of give one throwaway ban here to the mid lane. Maybe someone like Syndra could be a little bit problematic to run into in the mid lane when you've got the Aphelios, right, dealing with Scatter the Weak plus Vi. The combo is really powerful as well, 2v2, and it even shuts down potentially Scout going towards something like the LeBlanc. So it could be pretty good, but EDG, they don't want to deal with the side lane threat potential and teamfight potential of Anar, so they'll take that one off the board.
But now we find out if it's going to be
Syndra or another top.
Oh,
yeah, I think it
tell
just
me
makes
what's
too much
next.
sense.
No, you make sense. Tell me what's next.
I mean, at this point, I think if you're EDG, if you want to go towards the Blanca's FoFo, you could. I think the other option is maybe someone like a Kali. Azir, if you don't feel like the nerfs were that bad. Those are like the 3 options in my head right now that make the most sense. Or, I guess, you could just pick up the Crocodile.
Sure.
I'm not averse to it, and it does hold on to the Annie flex. And at this point, with Jax gone, with Gragas and Nargon, it is one of the strongest top laners up and available. It just depends on what Zika's willing to play into this top side pick, right? Is he just going to press the Sion button? You've got an Aphelios, you need a front line. I think it sets up too well. And now I'm kind of worried for EDG, because no one's going to be able to kill that Sion beyond a certain point. So we'll see what the answer will be from the side of EDG, as LNG just rounding out 2 really solid solo lane picks here with the Ryze to boot as well.
Is Aurelion I mean, if Yumi gets locked in, that's a sad day. I was going to say, is Aurelion Sol a good fit here, but maybe it's not.
Probably not. It's probably, yeah, I like Azir here.
When?
Oh, actually, I forgot about Taliyah. Taliyah wouldn't be too bad either. Good matchup into Ryze. The Unraveled Earth makes teamfights kind of annoying for the Aphelios as well. And it, of course, pairs up brilliantly with Vi, and you can go and attack the side lanes. Yeah, all right, I forgot about that. Good call here from EDG in my mind. And it's a little bit difficult to punish in the 2v2 as well. You have to commit flashes normally to get the play going. But once level 6 comes in, for EDG, they should have... Normally, I feel like this mid jungle was more about the first of the punch, but I definitely do prefer the Vi Taliyah out of the 2, because I feel like there's more side lane threat, a little more instantaneously than the Ryze, but both these mid lanes with globals, that's going to be the thing to look at, of course. First move to those side lanes and who has impact on them first.
Well, first move to side lanes, and I'd say as well, Jamada, look, we have scaling on LNG. We have a front to back, but let's be real for number 3. If there's going to be a third one, it's like, hey, if you left Lord of the Rings with just the 2 towers, would you be mad? Hell yeah. Dude, Helm's Deep was a banger. And look, Theoden coming out of the castle with the boys, sick. But then you miss the battle for Middle-earth beginning. And then you miss the best bit in Lord of the Rings, which by far is when Aragorn gets made king. He walks out with Arwen and the hobbits bow, and he says, my friends, you bow to no one. And I cried. I admit I cried. And if you didn't cry at that scene, you are heartless, because that's a beautiful scene.
Yeah. Jake, can I make you upset for a second?
Sure.
I've not watched The Lord of the Rings. But it's kind of because I'm pretty sure the first film came out in the year I was born. So, like, you know, just to derail a little bit as we're here into game 2. I feel like his silence is anger, guys. I feel like he's...
No, you know what?
No.
If, like, I always think about any time I go into a movie, I think, oh, am I going to spoil it for people? You know what? If you haven't watched Lord of the Rings by now, just stop watching. Get going. I don't care. I could not care less, because I think you could be borderline monstrous. It's just too late. Like, there are great movies out there that if you haven't watched already, like, if you haven't seen the first Die Hard, can you sit there and say you're living a successful life? When McClane comes out of the vent and says yippee-ki-yay with the words that I won't say after that on broadcast, you get a feeling of like, yeah, I love Bruce Willis. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Anyway. Jamada.
Yes. Hello.
Anyway, I've unpacked a bag of worms. Tell me, what does this game mean to you?
What does this game mean to me? Is that a philosophical question? Are we talking about, you know, this particular game we're watching? Are we talking about League of Legends as a whole? The LPL?
LPL. Try that one.
LPL.
Because, look, I'll just immediately tell you that you told me as, hey, FoFo's flash is down. Sorry, ignore everything. Why is FoFo's flash gone?
I think that early attempt from Scout and Tarzan, because Tarzan did pass through, so maybe that's probably what it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that was
is
intent.
this it?
Yeah,
Ooh,
this is why it's gone. Just flashes the queue. I think we just barely caught it as the observer panned over mid. That's why.
Jamada, my questions lead into how LNG play this comp. Was I right in champ select as to what I was assuming? Is this just like a sit back, chill, front to back team fight? You Sion, run in, you have an enchanter, like,
yep.
Let this get to a machine gun 3 item from mid AD?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's as textbook as team compositions go. Early game jungler to try and alleviate some of the early game pressures that a scaling team composition can have, and a whole bunch of scaling to facilitate front to back team fighting. We've got frontliners in Lee Sin and Sion who can play aggressively, defensively, play pill, play to try and get on top of those high value targets, and then you've got your machine gun carries. So yeah, it's it's about as by the books you could really get. I feel like for EDG, it's a little more nuanced, but it can definitely be played out in a very similar fashion. It's just I feel like LNG's version is a little bit better. So
Yeah.
if you're facing against the team composition that does what you do better, and that was potentially your goal, you look to break the game a little bit earlier, and it seems like the top side of the map is where they're going to try and do that.
Beautiful gank timing though. Flash was just burnt. Arla has enough to Ruthless Predator his first blood. Really nice slice and dice setup here from Arla, who just schooled Zika.
Yeah, and the wave has just been in a really painful spot for a little while. Really hard for Zika to really get out of that one, as more pressure onto FoFo. Here as, yeah, the wave, again, a really irritating position for EDG. Both the solo laners having issues on either end. Top side for LNG, mid side for FoFo, but there's been a lot of visitation here from the LNG jungler.
FoFo burned that flash earlier that you talked about, so obviously Tarzan wants to make his way in, but you were saying it's really hard to gank Taliyah. I mean, there's also a lot of error that can occur thanks to Seismic Shove, putting out your pebbles as well, making it a pain to ever move away. So, kind of interested to see how Tarzan continues his approach to mid lane, as mid is their best lane right now. It's a 10 CS lead for Scout. LP, a little bit of a lead down the bottom lane, but it looks like that wave is slowly pushing away from them. What I want to point out is, we're talking about CS leads though, you look at top and you say, wow, Arla is doing so great. 10 CS lead up in the top side. He's the one who picked up first blood. This is a Renekton game where you're expecting Arla to take over.
Yeah, and you know, I actually, like we kind of mentioned earlier, both these team compositions can play front to back, but I feel like EDG get out front to back, right? I think you've got to look for picks on side with your Vi and your Taliyah. And I think with that in mind, I would kind of like to see Arla maybe go towards the Assassin-esque build, where you go like Blade and Prowlers.
Blade first, yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, I think if he goes Gore Drinker, and you know, like the whole team fight build, sure, it's going to be useful if EDG are like hard specking into that. But I think your job here needs to be like, get on top of Scout, get on top of LP, and basically make their life miserable. just remove their health bar. We'll see what he wants to do. He's basing for the first time in this game, and if we get an Iron Spike Whip, then we get an Iron Spike Whip, and he's going to go Gore Drinker. That's fine.
No, we don't. We get a play to the Road King.
He's just so based. I love him. Arla, he just knows. He knows what he has to do.
Good.
And again, I feel like you can't front to back with the team comp here for EDG, even though you'd potentially like to. I think you just have to go for side lane picks, and then also kind of just play as an assassin here as this Renekton.
Bit of a shout out just quickly. I was just wondering, you know, my Discord was buzzing away. But shout out to Orcs, who told me that Return of the King, it's 20th anniversary soon. And I should let the people know he's right. 20th anniversary, it's going to be in cinemas again. That's 3.5 hours of joy. I think the uncut version where there's like all this extra footage is almost 4 hours. Banger. Orcs, we miss you on this broadcast as well. Anyway, moving forward, what's almost as important as that is that Dragon's going to be coming up in 3.5 minutes, but LNG started it. And the problem is when you tell me that LNG want to scale this game, I have an issue. That EDG right now, their level 6 is going to matter so much here. That Weaver's wall's up and available for FoFo to move to either of these side lanes. Vi now getting aggressive as well. Level 6 here is Tarzan getting soloed out. I don't know, but with the Weaver's wall, do they even need mid? FoFo comes through. He's unable to get the distance onto Tarzan, who flashes away. Jiejie was primed and ready.
Yeah, surprised they maybe don't want more. I'm not entirely sure on what the wave state looks like, but it looks like it's kind of stacked in EDG's favor, but they don't want to give up potentially a mid-plate rather, or even a roam to the top side Herald in the extended trade away. So EDG, they just return to their lanes for now, but flash blown from Tarzan, almost a solo kill pretty much, as Scout in the extended sequence is eyeing up Arla here. It looks like he's just going to take a turn around and head back to the mid lane as FoFo is shoving out that wave, and he doesn't want to miss it.
No, but Scout already has a CS lead. So there is a decent lead through this mid lane that is worth noting here, as FoFo will finally get the minions cleared, but Scout will be up 10, 15 almost. So despite EDG showing signs of aggression, the fact they didn't get the kill, the fact they didn't get too much, it's over the wall, leave. Really nice engage. Now the return here from LP is also good, as the return damage brings him down to even HP, but I have to say that passage of play from the 2v2 was just intuitive setup.
I think from both sides as well. Like even the response from LP after, like you say, very intuitive setup, being able to land the sniper Q and then the Calibrum afterwards to get 2 procs to just match out the trade, just to level out that pressure is so good. From wait, I said it the wrong way around. I said it as if Leave is on Aphelios. My bad, but yeah, LP doing that really, really solid. That's how good his performance was in game number 1. It's just Aphelios, Leave, same champion, same person. But we did see Herald away from that, picked up there by Tarzan. So you have to imagine it's going into the Aphelios' back pocket or it's going into the mid lane. I think mid lane really high value drop, just because there's a fair amount of wave clear on the Taliyah, and everyone's kind of like mid ranged, right? So if you can get rid of that mid tier 1, it really opens up the map, especially when you've got 2 global mid laners, whether it's both those mid laners heading to sides and then coming back in, or getting the first move because they can catch the waves up high in the mid lane. Both super valuable, so I'd like to see Tarzan definitely drop it there. But with the rotation from LP and Hung, it looks like they want to give the plates over to him, and they might even look for a play onto Ala.
I mean, they might find it as well. There's going to be 3 members up here. Ala has just used all of his fury as well. He flashed his slice and dices, but that's a summoner down here from this aggressive Croc, and that's just going to be turret plating after turret plating, taking LP with the crescendum as well. This Aphelios is going to be big.
Look at the map, right? EDG are just not prepared right now for this play. I mean, it's going to be crescendum. I think LP has the red gun stacked up. Oh, he's actually out of ammo on blue.
He's out.
Maybe if he's got red after this. I can't remember the order when it's kind of scuffed like this. I want to say he might actually be on green, is what's on my brain. Which is maybe not the ideal.
I bet you it's red. I bet you.
You bet it's red? I can't remember the order. I'm pretty sure he might have green stacked right now.
Okay.
And
Watch
then it'll
this.
be red. It's one
it's
or the
going to be red. The amount of Aphelios I've played, I can feel the red coming up next. As our Scout, nice sidestep from the seismic shove. In fact, Tarzan's now coming in red hot as well. Jiejie going to cover him for the time being, as you can see Hung is off to the wing as well. Now, a cameraman is going to show us in a moment. Just a quick moment. Let's just go to Aphelios here as EDG are going to pick up Dragon. Hang on. Ready, ladies and gentlemen. Show me the green.
No, we need to see the dragon. We need to see the dragon.
No.
It's another cloud.
It's red.
It is red.
No. You said green. I said red.
No.
I told you.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I'll hold my hands up. It's
I
okay.
played the champion because I got so sick of the 200 years and just watching him fling his ulti.
You experience it yourself.
Oh, I did. And you know what? I think I hit my face on the keyboard a couple of times and I got like a quadra kill, pentakill. I can't remember what it was, but it was so good.
Good champion, that. I'm glad it's not quite as a 200 years as it was on release.
It's a cool design. I'll be real. Like, you know, and all the... It deserves credit. Like, it's a cool design, the gun system, but again, it's just... This wasn't very fun going through all those years. But anyway, as we get this chase up, Leave in a bit of trouble, trying to dash his way through. Tarzan's down here. Is Tarzan going to use the Herald today? Because Meiko's coming in, Jiejie's coming in. Tarzan might be in a bit of trouble as Tibbers is ready to calm out. Where is it? The bear! Oh my god, the seismic shove gets taken on a journey. Now the Easter Bunny is running after LP, who cleanses away. The Vault Breaker doesn't connect, and Tibbers, no, save the bear! No. LP kills him, but meanwhile on the top side, that's a shield shredder there, and Ala is close to a solo kill, but can't get it. His flash was burned before, and Zika survives, but Bladed Ruin King starting to bring in dividends here as EDG, speaking of money, finds some cash down bot as well.
Yeah, and you know, the play could even be worse, because I think Tarzan... No, he does respawn right in time. I was thinking, how long's he got left? 15 seconds, if you hear that noise prompt, to drop the Herald. And he's just beeline into the bottom lane, bottom lane, because he knows he has to drop it. There you go. So there's going to be ample time for EDG to respond to the Herald. No, Meiko is... No, he's going to cancel his recall. That's not Meiko, that's Leave. They almost look like the same champions with that skin.
You're just used to it from last game. I know, don't worry. Scout might be called out here. Vault Breaker is going to be used. Flash was there and available, but luckily he doesn't have to use it, as this Herald is coming all the way through to get the charge. It's so close as Leave has to back away from the range of LP. And you can see at least it gets the charge. It shares it with LP. And EDG lose a couple more plates down in this bottom side. It's a 10 CS lead and a bit of a gold lead here for an Aphelios yet again here in this series. And just note that if we're speaking about gold, LNG are dead even here at the 14-minute mark, Jamada, and this is a really good sign that LNG are just cruising their way into a very crisp situation of getting a front to back soon enough.
Yeah, I feel like they are super happy with the fact that the game is going the way it is right now with no major lead anywhere across the board. They can sit very happy knowing that, hey, go towards the next dragon. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be chill. And you've got the rower stack in. Hell, you can let this next dragon go if you really want to. Go pick up the Herald again. And then go and take a tower or two on the opposite side of the map past EDG are scrambling for dragon. Worlds, yeah, again, your Oyster. And it's, again, it's a Cloud. And it's a Cloud which isn't like crazy high value here for either side, though I will say, I've seen a Zeri with a Cloud Soul 1 or 2 times. And yeah, it zooms. So you don't want to give away too many. But LNG, again, it really depends on what they want to prioritize. Whether it's the gold or the dragons, 1v1 on the bottom side.
I think LP might win this, but hang on a minute. Oh, the flash! Oh, Leave survives. Hides behind Meiko, and now the Sonic Wave doesn't connect because Leave hides behind his support again. FoFo with the Tarzan shot, Hung disappears. Scout comes through with a Realm Warp. That was close, but Leave is just coming out trumps in this series.
He really is. And I mean, you know, it was almost the 1v1 until it wasn't. The shield comes through from Meiko, and I think it just about saves his life. Otherwise, it would have been a 1-for-1. Really nice from Leave, but also LP, because making a 1-for-1 in that situation, definitely an uptrade if it's numbers first for EDG. We get a look at it here as combo just comes out really clean from LP. Leave a little bit too close to really dodge out on anything without necessarily flashing, and he doesn't flash in if he just face tanks. Shield comes through right. Yeah. So close, but the splash dealt almost 300 damage.
Yeah.
To Meiko, by the way. So LP, he's getting those crits on those Infernums already. He's kind of starting to hit quite hard. When he approached the mid game, he's already got that first time. I'm sure he'll start to build towards that Infinity Edge very soon.
But still, it's an impactful kill that goes to Leave where, you know, we can understand both these AD carries after watching them for about 100 or however many years so far. As Tibbers comes out, Hung is caught out as Meiko has to flash from non-stop onslaught. Tarzan shot's good, but no one's doing enough damage to this Sion. Leave's already burnt the ulti. Zika got low, but look at how much it took. Look at how much time. The cleanse comes through from Leave. He is now summonerless as Dragon's up, but LNG have the river all to themselves. EDG are zoned away. Look at the ultis they burned. The big one being Meiko's, of course. FoFo still doesn't have the Weaver's Wall up and available to zone them out.
Yeah, not just yet, but a lot of the other big ultimates, Kick, Moonlight Vigil, Wild Growth, that's all there for LNG. Those are all great tools for just sitting back, letting EDG come into you, and then punishing the appropriate targets. For now, it's EDG that are here first, but at the end of the day, it's the Herald in the mid lane, which is going to just suck in a little bit of pressure, even get this tower. It seems like that's just going to happily be the trade. And you'll take that as LNG. You lose one Cloud Dragon, who cares? It's not individually the best, but what could matter is this flank.
Tarzan didn't get the Sonic Wave. Meanwhile, Scout flashes over the wall, but look at the journey. They're down with a shove down the pit out, and FoFo getting LP with a stroke of brilliance. They pull the trigger hard, fast, quick, down, and no repayments for 99 years. It's Arla with the second, and EDG pulling the tempo up to a nice crisp 8.
Yeah, this is the thing. If you can catch LNG kind of split apart there, where it's, you know, Tarzan a little bit off to the side, Zika not really in a position to frontline or peel, all of a sudden, it's really, really difficult for LNG to play out these team fights as EDG. Jiejie is going to steal away that one. But that's what you need to do as EDG. You just need to find these very brief windows, which LNG might give to you where they're a little bit too split up. You can very easily pick apart the members of LNG. As you can see, Tarzan waiting in the river, maybe trying to like play bodyguard to what's about to happen, but it happens across the wall. You're not there to stop this movement forward, as doesn't matter how far you dash, the Vial will find you eventually. LP drops and Scout buys a lot of time, but he's always going to die here. The Volbreaker comes through, and EDG get the kind of fight they need to try and kind of get enough gold into their back pocket and look for more picks, look for more plays on the map. That's what we need to see over the next couple of minutes.
It's nice seeing, you know, Scout hit by his former team. He had spent so many years, like the story of Scout, guys, is ever since he came to the LPL, after leaving SKT as a trainee mid underneath Faker. You know, he was under the tutelage of Randy Tutelage, also known as Faker. And in 2016 summer, he joined EDG. This was during the time when Pawn was still on the roster, from my recollection. And then 2017, it was just purely Scout. Now, when Scout came through, he still had a lot to learn, but he'd been on the roster all the way up until that last year. This is his first time on a different LPL roster after 6 years of being on Edward Gaming. And he's trying to create a different legacy after winning Worlds on the same roster, after also being on a team that's won MSI the past 4, as we're getting this engaged from EDG yet again. Jiejie flashes out, but look, leave. Was that in? I think that could have been in just from Jiejie going in. I was talking up EDG, and leave decided to leave a gray screen.
Yeah, that was a play from Leave. I will say that. I'm not entirely sure why he did that, Hysterics, I'll be honest. But LNG immediately just murder him for it, and now the Baron is what's on the cards. EDG, they still have Jiejie, so it's close to a 50-50, and there's not really too much to stop him from getting in the pit right now. But will LNG take it? Looks like they are.
Oh, going in for the steal. Jiejie did. They want to burst it down for the smite. Nah, nope. It's going to be taken over. LNG given a lifeline in this game, given more time in this game. And all of a sudden, EDG just kind of threw a Hail Mary that didn't feel like it needed to be thrown.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite bizarre that ended up happening. Like, you could have just very happily lost one member on that play and then just backed away, right? Like, it's all right. You go in here from EDG. The engage is not great, and like you say, Leave just sends it.
I've seen Jackie Love do that, you know. It was obviously finals, it was over a turret. Feels bad, but that's not the first Zeri in the LPL that has gone over a wall thinking it would be a much shorter journey, I imagine.
Yeah. Channeled his inner Jackie. Mr. Leave. Jackie leave.
Oh. Jackie did leave. That was a tragic way to end Game 5 finals, but still, it was a... happens to the best of us, I guess.
Yeah. What can you do sometimes? Well, I guess that's the question we're going to have to ask EDG as they deal with this Baron siege here from LNG. It feels like LNG have almost been handed the reins to this game. At the very least, the control of it, not necessarily the result just yet. As they take down that tier 2 tower, and I think they're probably going to shift their focus down here to the bottom side because they've got that dragon in 30 seconds time. And EDG aren't really in position just yet to deal with it, so this tower's going to drop quite quickly.
But look at the other side of the map. That is a Renekton with Blade of the Ruined King and split pushing capabilities. Cameraman, how are we looking? Okay. Choo-choo train. Here's Thomas. Da, 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 da. Well, Zika, unfortunately, I think Henry's the traffic controller. He needs him definitely to control this situation because Arla is a split pushing machine. Doesn't have his second item, and you know what I'm disappointed about? No Prowlers coming through Jamada.
Yeah, he's going Gore Drinker.
Black Cleaver.
I would have been... Oh, wait. Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, forget that. Never mind. I'm happy again.
Why did he go Iron Spike quick just the same? Did he just want the wave clear? I don't... This is a bizarre one. But Black Cleaver's all right here, trying to shred through Zika on the side lane, and at the end of the day, you have to remember how quickly Renekton can stack a Black Cleaver if he's got that empowered Ruthless Predator. It's 3 autos, auto if you've got the like reset in, so that's 4, Q, E. It stacks up immediately. You can definitely shred it on Zika, and it also means a whole bunch, even onto a member like LP. Now, the problem with the build is you're quite squishy, of course.
True.
But Allah's able to flash out, so he doesn't really care right now.
But I guess you're okay as long as LP's not there at the timing, or maybe even Scout having a full range of motion. As Arla was able to get out of there, he burned his flash. FoFo used the ulti in response. But I will say, Jamada, for EDG, despite that mistake before, they're only trailing 2,000 gold, and they do have 2 dragons, so it's not like LNG can force this front to back around the next couple of objectives. EDG can still use some of that map movement we talked about early in the game to find a pick, to isolate, to hit side lanes, to maybe link up with Arla, or maybe Arla vice versa, right? He's got TP himself, so I was going to ask you a little bit about EDG's options here to regain control after the little bit of a whoopsie that we saw before.
I like that. Whoopsie. Yeah. I think It's just gonna have to go down that rabbit hole of picks, right? Just looking whenever you can. If someone's just overextending for a brief moment and you feel like the window is left wide open enough to snap them up with Vi, with FoFo, just send it. And of course, if you're talking about slightly more orientated towards 5v5s, then it's got to be Ala getting a good teleport in and actually just finding LP, catching him off guard from a good flank and just blowing him up. He's got a Dirk, so Ala is based. It's fine. He's just going the long way around it. He's just got the cleaver first. We'll go towards the Prowlers. And I feel like it's just a good read. Knows what his role has to be. Don't have to say much more. He knows he has to be the Assassin Crocodile.
True.
And get LP in that death roll ASAP.
You know what always saddens me, even though obviously it's competitive play? Seeing Annie with Shirelias instead of something like crazy like a Ludens. Everfrost maybe?
True.
Is this a kickoff? How long does it take Zika to kill? Thomas has been hit at the station. Meiko doesn't set up the Tibbers to come out and play the bear role. I'm wondering now, do LNG move towards setting up vision around this Baron? I mean, topside was gained, but hang on, Hung's caught out, he flashes away. Jiejie now goes deep to flash, Leave sets himself up, but all of a sudden you have to run. Zika is going to charge you down, Leave is frontlining. LP's going to play Aphelios, and you know what? I'm getting deja vu. I've been in this place before, but Ala trying to be the assassin, runs on in. However, EDG have used everything. Jiejie runs in. Is there any hope? Well, maybe there is. What? Hold on. Flash away. Zeri thinks he's still in ulti. He's still in ulti, but he doesn't have an alpha. As EDG are running away now, rooted up. FoFo deals with the old Edward Gaming reliable. It was a savage attempt, but Leave, unfortunately, just doesn't have an enchanter.
Oh my goodness me. If Leave wasn't shut down by Tarzan, I think he would have continued to open up there. That was very, very, very peculiar for LNG to navigate, as I feel like this engage was I'll just say it bluntly, it's a bit of an overforce, to be honest with you. You're looking at Lulu, and it just gives LP this window to find a 3-man caliber moment. And look at the damage he's getting. I mean, he nearly one-shots Leave, removed the Immortal Shield Bow, and forces the flash out of FoFo, all in the brief window of a couple of seconds. But Arla's doing so much work on the backline. And the re-engage here, what is it that prompts this window for Leave to just step forward? LP just overreaches, just briefly. Looking for Jiejie, it feels like he's able to step up behind Zika, but Zika doesn't have the health bar to really deal with that damage. And the kick eventually comes out to stop Leave from going on his rampage. If it doesn't, hell, we could have just seen another Zeri Banner.
I think at this point, we give a bit of a salute to EDG for how this game's gone for their attempts. They threw it away, but look for LNG. Now the front to back comes through. Jiejie's caught out, but he turns it around, gets the ulti onto Zika, the realm of views, and look at this. Arla for the flank on the back line. Zika might get out, but he can't re-engage. EDG might have this, but Leave versus LP. As he goes gold, the whole team are coming in front. EDG might still be in this game. The winner's wall is beautiful. In our match of the week, they've brought it right back. The electricity surges from this AD carry, and Edward Gaming are chasing up that last bit of the platter, the last bit of prosciutto. You know you want it. It's so delicious. It's luxurious, and Ala will take it. The final piece, just like that EDG. The platter's gone.
LNG are shocked, they are electrified, and they are stunned by Leave's Zeri performance, and he just moves into the face of LP fearlessly. Pretty much sets up that silver platter you're talking about for the rest of EDG to come and swoop in, and all of a sudden, we've got a game 2, which felt like it was just gonna be LNG almost all the way. This engage comes through on top of Meiko. It's not quite good enough, but this kick on to Jiejie sets him up to actually just about get in range to find that ultimate out, so he doesn't get picked on. The Realm Warp is excellent to keep Zika alive. And Ala, whilst he's frontlining on the top side, just look at this 1v1. Leave is just blowing LP up. I'm sure he's returning the damage in kind, but he has to stop watching such a bad spot where EDG can reposition, and the Weaver's Wall just to split the fight up that bit more. It's just excellent from EDG. And they'll pick up the third dragon as well, just to edge things a little bit more in their favor. From this Baron, let's see what they can strip off the map.
Let's see how they can pick up pieces again. Tarzan sitting in his own jungle as LP is there off the wing. Shocking again. Hung is hit. Leave sends out a laser with 3 items now. And even though he's not the one with the enchanter, Leave is playing like a man possessed again. Props to LP, who, as Weaver's War comes out, he's been playing great in this game, but Scout is trying to get the numbers advantage onto Arla, who through mid has to slice and dice his way out of there. EDG now to come and help him if they choose. He goes golden. Leave is there. Ultra Shock Laser again hits Hung. Oh, look at the damage. Leave!
Oh my God, Leave!
What? He went into 3 people. Leave, are you sure about that? Is he? Immortal Shield
he's
Bow?
fine.
Leave!
He's
Still
fine.
alive! No way! No way Scout Flushes gets him, but the fact that Lee brought them all to their knees. This AD carry, his name may be Leave, but EDG are going to make him stay.
The only thing that's being left is a concussion with LNG. Oh my God, they're going to win the game off the back of this play. It's 2 back-to-back. Absolutely.
Jamada.
What do you do against that?
I don't know, because EDG after the throw shouldn't have won this match of the week, but we come in LNG being first. We leave with EDG talking about their AD carry and talking about the potential that this new lineup has. Our match of the week is done. It's 8-2 now for EDG. It's a 2-0, and Edward Gaming are full of surprises this split.
And so far this split, it has been a lot about FoFo, the top side in general for EDG, and even though Leave has silently been performing well, this was certainly his series to really stand out from the rest of his team and pretty much on his back takes EDG to a 2-0 victory, refusing LNG a potential rerun of a Game 3. Excellent performance from everyone, but man, oh man, Leave. He's going to be on your mind leaving this series. The victor against LNG here, and tying up, at least by the score, at the top of the standings now for EDG.